lot of times it's easy to have this motivation for a week, 2 weeks, but on the gray days, I like to say, when it's a rainy day, it's snowing, there's tough days in your life. How do you react on those days? But one of the things, as you kind of speak about your path from an early age, it's very clear that you were an entrepreneur. You weren't really meant to, spend that 40 hours a week working for someone else, and you wanted to take that control. For other people, maybe someone's in corporate America and they're wondering, is it too late to be an entrepreneur? How do you kind of know if you're an entrepreneur? Given kind of it's different being a CEO versus being a franchise owner, but how do you know if being a business owner is really right for you?
Yeah, good question. I think there are more people that are wanting to be entrepreneurs. I've heard that entrepreneur term recently.
Hmm.
That's a new one for me. But uh, I think there are a lot of people that do aspire to own their own business, and franchising in a lot of cases is a great transition for them. What we see in our brands is, funny that you say that. A lot of times our typical franchisee is somebody that took the safe route out of school, has been very successful in corporate America, and has put away some money, but they've always in the back of their mind had this entrepreneurial itch, and they aspire to getting back to that. And I think what the world is recognizing now is that the safe approach doesn't exist. Like that used to be like, hey, I'll go work for Ford as an example, as I'm watching them on the news.
Yeah.
And I'll, work for them for 40 years, and maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't, but I'll have a pension. And uh, those safe opportunities just, they don't exist anymore because the corporate world has become so cutthroat. So
Mm.
it's come full circle, but in my mind, I feel like on being an entrepreneur is the safe route nowadays, which is very different than what I thought 30 years ago. But
That's a
um,
fascinating point. Yeah, and that's all it even, just kind of watching you grow up, I always say it's a much greater risk working for someone else rather than working for yourself, because if you're working for yourself, you have control. If you want to make more money, put more work in. Um, but for example, if you're working that 9 to 5, for example, I did recruiting and finance for 4 years, and I watched people with these 7-figure salaries that had these very cozy 401ks. And, once you reach a certain age, they replace you with the same younger talent. And, the basic law of business is really supply and demand. And when you think about people all getting the same degrees, then they all need the same CPA, the same CFA exams. They all have the same skills. And although people may like to think, my strategy is a little bit better, none of them are outbeating the S&P 500. And now when you look at AI involved in that, it just replaces all those jobs. So it just goes to show, like, the more people that are focused on one industry, it creates these niches in all these other industries, and just trying to provide that value. And one other really cool thing, kind of going back to how you originally got in the restaurant industry,